Okay, today we're looking at some indicators and some updates to indicators that were made in TradingView. If you know something about chart patterns and you like it, then you can watch this. Otherwise, it's mostly probably not that relevant. Although there's a couple updates that TradingView made that are still maybe interesting. So yeah, let's have a look. When you go to the blog, by the way, you see all of these updates to mostly to indicators, but also other things like bar replay here. I think I mentioned this on one of my earlier videos. I think my most is it my most watched video at this point. I made a VWAP tutorial. This one, it's not the greatest. I will make a new one where I also script it, because just like this one, it was like off the cuff, and yeah, I'll make a more concise one maybe, and also a little bit more in depth on some of the things and some examples. But I think I mentioned there that I like the continuous futures chart if you're trading futures like index futures, for example. But there was something with it, and they now, but I think they already did that in January, because I said that the bar replay didn't work, but I was right about it. But they already updated that in January. So that was an issue previously, but now that's not a problem. So you can use the continuous chart. You can still use the Forex version, which is US 100 for Nasdaq and US 500 for the S&P. But yeah, they did update that. They made some VWAP adjustments as well. I didn't find that one too interesting, but there was something about, I think that's in the same. Yeah, we'll have a look at that one as well. And mostly I just wanted to look at the automated indicators. There's one automated pitchfork. Right now I don't really use it. I've been using it for a little bit for some cryptos, and when I was looking at Forex, and yeah, I did look at it, and it can be useful, but we're focusing now on the chart patterns. When you go there, it gives you a little explanation. Yeah, maybe you trade what this is, Elliott waves and stuff, ABC patterns, that kind of stuff. So you have all of that. You see here all of the new ones. We're gonna have a look at it in a little bit, but it's under I don't know if you can see it here. It's under technicals. If you go to the indicators, and then chart patterns. So yeah, there you find a bunch. Flag pattern, it's I think pretty useful, and yeah, it doesn't require much sort of interpretation. I did try this one as well. You should do for yourself. I'm not gonna look at it right now, but I don't really like it, also because it constantly updates and then completely changes where it puts. This is when you've seen the whole chart, but the whole point of these patterns, of course, is that it shows before you before the pattern is completed. And I think you saw something like maybe that it shows the pattern here, one wave here and then here, and then when the price changes. And I have heard from people who do trade Elliott waves that's fine actually to change your patterns. But yeah, that's why I'm not a huge fan of them, because while the price action changes, you have to redraw these lines. So I'm not a huge fan of it. But if you already traded, you might as well try it and see if it works. And try it with both on live charts, obviously, but also you can just give it a first try with the replay function. Because with the replay function, it also shows you what would happen real time how these lines would be drawn in real time instead of just seeing here, you know, in the end when the whole pattern is already completed. So yeah, I think I like the flags and the wedge patterns. The pennants, haven't really looked at it, but double top, I looked at it to me, and I looked at it with the replay function, and it was a little too late. Maybe we'll have a look at it as well, but yeah, let's see. Oh, and also my laptop, if you saw one of my latest videos, I updated my laptop, so this one is a little bit faster, even though it's completely budget laptop. Like, it was around 1100 bucks, and yeah, it says like a Ryzen 9. It has 32 gigs, so that was one of the main reasons why I bought it. So even with all these tabs open and with recording and with TradingView, we're like at 20%. And yeah, usually I would avoid some of the tabs and, you know, either close the browser, or now at 19 I just used what's it called, from advanced system tools, or what is it, how do they call it, advanced system care. You can download it. You can empty your RAM from time to time, because it saves stuff into your RAM even when when you don't really need it. So sometimes you press the button and then it empties the unnecessary RAM. So when you add it, you can just press / or somewhere up here. I think it's just off screen because I'm cropping my video, since I'm using a widescreen monitor as my as my recording, as my main monitor. And like I said, under technicals, here you have scripts and other community scripts, but under technicals you go to chart pattern. And right now I think I like the flags the most, and the wedge is kind of also acts like a flag, and I think it can just adjust almost pretty much to a flag, but also to an actual wedge. If this was going even narrower, the price action, you know, if it continued and even narrower, it would look more like a wedge. So I think you kind of have a flag as well as a wedge when you choose the wedge. And yeah, you can just look at different time frames. I think here, even on this time frame now, on the 5 minute, it shows, and it draws it automatically, right? So that's the point of these indicators. They still count to your indicator count. So that's the only downside. But yeah, with the free plan you have 3 indicators, and you get 5 with the first upgrade, and I think 10 with the second. Is there a third? I think there's another upgrade, but yeah, if you need it, this is I think it's pretty useful, especially you can change the colors and everything, especially because when I tried it with the replay function, bar replay, it shows somewhere here, which is what you want, right? Because the idea is either it breaks out, or usually, especially since I drew these levels, you're actually looking for a reaction. But whatever it is, even if you're on the wrong side, with these specific patterns, usually have at least a 1-to-1, and usually better than 1-to-1 risk reward. So I like these a bit better than some of these crazy price patterns like Elliott waves or whatever, or the head and shoulders on this automated indicator, because it was a bit too late before it started to show it. And here, even if it shows it in the end, that's pretty much still a good place to have a good entry, because when this pattern completes, it shows it, huh? Oh, this one is also pretty late. Okay, I think on a higher time frame, you saw how late this one was. On a higher time frame, I think I liked it a bit better. You kind of, I think, maybe already here, you sort of wanted to show and then maybe when it breaks after this candle, but not later, right? Let me see when it shows. But this is on the 5 minutes, by the way, slightly off screen. Let's see when it showed the pattern. See, this would be the latest. Preferably, actually, here I would prefer the pattern. Okay. But if you take this late, I would definitely wait for a retracement. So, yeah, when it broke this level, you could draw a line here and then see if it dips back. But sometimes you don't get an entry if you do that. So you could also maybe wait for 50% retracement of this candle, for example. Do half of a position or even smaller if you want, 1/3 or whatever. And then have another retracement here when the level broke. Have another entry, I mean. And then maybe even have a third entry here. Because sometimes price is really crazy like that. It really tries to go all the way back before it continues. Especially with the indices, with things like Nasdaq and S&P, the Dow and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten an entry, I think, if you had waited for a retracement. No, in this case not. But at least you would have gotten a continuation without any pullback, without any drawdown. So I guess that's also a good thing. I think I saw on the hourly as well. Let's see how quickly that one showed. Oh, see, that one already is showing. So I prefer that when it's already completing here. Then you can see if you like the price action and decide if you go in. Here, I don't mind if it does that, because here it's also valid, right? Because the price action is how do you call it? Fractal. So this is also indeed a wedge, and then you have maybe a larger wedge that forms. So I don't mind that, because you see it actually works. So when was the first time it shows? So yeah, I kind of like this. I'm definitely going to try it at least. And look, I trade more with just simple levels like this. And if you watch at my VWAP video, I trade VWAP. And then I also look at volume profile. But usually that combined with something like a MACD, those are usually more confirmation indicators. My primary way of trading is just simple levels and VWAP. But I like this sort of as a confluence. Maybe just like I'm using MACD. You know, this one gave you a nice entry as well. But wait for it till it's at some significant level, you know. And then you get the MACD. So, and this led to a nice move. But this price pattern thing, this one was useless because this was the whole move. So that one was useless. But let's see, we did get a bigger one. At some point, I think it's going to change this line here. Where is it gonna do that? See, now it sees this whole thing also as a pattern, and that's still pretty useful. Here you could get an entry if you went for the down move. So yeah, I don't mind here. It's adjusting a little bit, but that's fine because it's just, you would also do that if you draw it, and it wouldn't completely change the whole move like with Elliott waves or something. And there you have your move. So yeah, I like this. So I'm definitely gonna try it out, maybe on a second screen or a completely different device, you know, on your tablet or whatever, on your second monitor. And have another one for the trigger chart. This more for the, you know, broad overview. So what did they do with VWAP? They said something about VWAP. They made some change there as well. I think they actually added an indicator. See, that's also an auto indicator, auto anchored. Let me see if I quickly can have a look at that one as well. So you choose things like higher high and higher low or lower low, and then it's automatically going to start VWAP at that location. So I think this would be then a lower low or something, or highest volume. You can, I think this probably was highest volume, because you can use all sort of settings, and from that point on it starts the VWAP. And it can be really useful, because I also already experiment with I usually don't do it on stream because it starts to become maybe a bit cluttered. But if you go to the tools, I think I have it in my let me exit out of this. I think, yeah. And where do you find this tool? It's also a bit off screen, but I'll have a look. Oh yeah, in the line tools. So where you find the trend lines and stuff, and then you go all the way to the bottom, and there is the anchored VWAP. That's this one, because sometimes VWAP already starts automatically every day, right? The start of a new day. But sometimes there's like very boring action, couple days, and then a massive move happens. And sometimes I like to then put a anchored VWAP, for example, from this point on, where we have this move, for example. So you see how useful it can be, you know? That when it's below VWAP, you wait for a retracement and continuation. Here was a bit messy, but this whole level, it was pushing strongly into it. So that's always at least a sign that you want to be careful with, you know, trying to fade it. So it wasn't that useful, but this level itself was also not that useful. So that's just one of those times where price, you know, same here, where price is one of these lovely whipsaws, you know, whipsawing maybe the shorts and then also the longs and then pushing it up. But so yeah, that's what I sometimes do myself, you know, with an anchored VWAP. And by the way, I think there were no bands previously, so you only had this VWAP and not the standard deviation bands. I think this one is also set to 1.5. You can watch my other anchor of my VWAP video. This is pretty much the same settings, but you could set it to whatever tends to work with the price action. So with more volatile action, maybe you want to standard deviation or even more. But yeah, they now apparently, is this in this tool? Yeah, oh here, I think. Oh no, this is just a source. This tool is still the same. I think you have to. Where can you find it? New indicator. VWAP auto anchored. So where they don't tell you where you get it. So maybe I'll have a look at that later, because they don't tell you where. Maybe just under the regular indicators. Auto. See, this is yeah. Let me add this. Oh, but it's also under technicals. So let's have a look. Oh, but you would still have to scroll otherwise, I think. You can touch this scroll bar. Yeah. So it's also under technicals, but then it's not chart patterns, but it's under indicators. But yeah, you might as well type it in here in the search bar. Let's see if this one is a bit useful. auto. Let's remove this one then. So we don't. Oh, I think it's already due. But this is the 1 hourly, so I use it for overall direction, but not during day trading. So let's see. This one a bit useful. They probably have standard deviation of only 1. So at least most of the time I do at least 1.5. And on stronger or more volatility I do 2. Let's change the blue color. And make it a bit thicker, the VWAP itself. You could also do yellow, that's probably a bit easier to see. So yeah, should I turn it off? Yeah, let me turn it off. So where is it set to right now? Inputs. So I still don't know what auto means, but I will have a look, because here are all the settings that you can choose. So I will have a look some other day what they all do. Let me turn off my regular VWAP, turn on my regular VWAP. Yeah, that's what I thought. This is still the session VWAP if you put it to auto. So highest high, maybe let's try that one. I'm gonna try volume as well. Maybe let's do highest high first. Yeah, not that useful here. Okay. 5 minutes, 30 minutes. I think there's also a setting for how many bars it's looking back. Or not. Or is this it? Length 14. I think this is it. Maybe we want more, like 100 bars, 200 bars. Let's say 100 bars. Okay, that's a bit more useful. Maybe 500 even. Okay. But yeah, you have to. Let's do 200 for now. Let's see if on a day trade level it's useful. And does it work with bar replay? Yeah, it does. So yeah, could be interesting. Same thing. Play around with it. I wouldn't really. I wouldn't really use it as my main chart, but just as the other indicator. Just have it on a second screen or something, and then just only use it if it actually confirms some other thing that you're trading. So because this is interesting, this is exactly doing what I just said, right? It just put it on the highest high, and then from that point on. And you see that the moment it broke here, that's when the trend indeed changed, and in this case it then removes the VWAP and starts a new one once it finds that requirement that you have set, in this case higher high. So yeah, also interesting. I think I like the wedge pattern a little bit better. Especially I think on a slightly higher time frame, because on this lower one it showed when this whole move was already done almost. But yeah, have a look at it. These are interesting things to play around with, and like I said, I personally would only use them as a confirmation. Have something else, and ideally in my opinion, a simple trading strategy, you know. So it looks like I have a lot of indicators sometimes, and I do. But if like the whole platform shut down, I could still trade because I can just trade based on levels that you draw. Plus, you know, most of the indicators I use are just confirmation indicator of the one thing that I'm trading, which is usually a level and maybe a level plus VWAP. And then, you know, following profile, other stuff that's just used to find targets or confirm something or look for potential exits or partial exits where you have maybe a high volume nodes or, you know, that kind of stuff. But and this could be a nice addition. So yeah, play around with it. And soon when we have the account, we'll be trading. And yeah, it looks I have like 0 lag. Plus I'm using my second screen, or what is my first screen, my laptop screen. I'm using that as well to watch, you know, how the stream looks, so I can also see if I'm pointing to something that's cut off, because because this widescreen monitor is cropped off, and it's all smooth. So for me, that's an upgrade. It's still it's a budget laptop, but for me, it's an upgrade because the other one, I don't know, it's probably from in the early 2010s or something. I don't know. So I'm really happy that I can now trade with a lot less lag with a recording. So yeah, stay tuned. Soon we'll be trading and recording and also live streaming very soon. So yeah, catch you guys later and have fun. Try these new trading tools out.